Yesterday was one of the most exciting days in West Indies cricket for a very long time. Not only did we beat England in the third one-day international to win the series 2-1, but there were also centuries for Casey Carty and Brandon King, making it a very long time that two of our batsmen have scored century in one match. Also, Alzarri Joseph, who was playing with real passion, stomped off the field with disgust at Sheob for not giving him the field place that he wants. I have heard many comments on what should be done to Alzarri Joseph, from not giving him any punishment and for not giving him any punishment to being banned for life. I, for one, I've said a lot on it yesterday, but today I have invited four persons to take us through the match and look at the situation with Alzarri Joseph. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I know each time I said that it needed some persons, but you will continue to be needed because for the time being, that's what the numbers are saying, and long may it continue. I appreciate your company here and thank you for joining us as we look forward to your interaction. Gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon to the Cricket Forum family and the world.
Good afternoon, Carlton, Elton, Basil, Bobby, and all your fans around the world. Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon to my fellow panelists and to your viewers, Carlton.
Good afternoon, Carlton, Bobby, Basil, and Tracy. It's nice to be on the program for the first time.
Yes, I must say that Elton, who is the director of TV and cricket power play, is my partner, and we have been shooting matches together. And so if you have a cricket match that you want us to shoot for you or to stream for you, you can contact us. Our rates are very competitive, and we do one of the best job in the market. So welcome, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, let's start with you, Basil. West Indies won that match yesterday fairly comfortable. Why did West Indies victory turn out to be so comfortable, Basil?
I think the pitch was very good for batting. Maybe there was some moisture early on that aided the West Indies bowlers to get to make inroads into the English batting lineup. But by the time we got our turn to bat, batting was very easy on a very placid pitch and ball coming on nicely to play your strokes and so on.
Thank you very much. What do you think, Bobby?
Well, the short answer is I think our team is much better than that England team. But, the long answer, I feel like, we needed a series win. We know we have to win. We're at 10th place. We have to get up. We don't want to go back to qualifiers. So the guys know what the job was, and, they just execute the plan.
All right, Roger.
When it comes to West Indies versus England, what the rankings say does not matter at all. West Indies have made a habit of flogging England for the last few years, whenever they've been here, in test matches and one-day international matches. So, and nothing was different this time around. I really expected the West Indies to do well. I do believe that we have a better team than England. Obviously, they're missing a few of their core players, although a lot of these players really represents the new England. The pitch was a spicy one up front and obviously got better throughout the day, so that was an important toss to win as well. But overall, I just think the West Indies are a much better team than this current England outfit.
Okay, Elton, welcome, man, to your debut. Why do you think that West Indies won the match so easily, Elton? Was it that we bowled better than them and we bat better than them, or the pitch play a large part?
Again, thank you, Carlton, Bobby. Basil and Tracy to have me on. Well, I think that the West Indies team, I think what is happening now is like they are giving them a little more time to be themselves instead of just having them and the guys think that they may be playing this game and won't be playing the next game. I think right now what happened was these guys are pretty much set in the West Indies team and feel comfortable. England team is good because all these guys is top guys that plays county cricket and they are good. It's just that obviously they just get to represent England. West Indies team have an old, as you can see, there was no Pooran, there was no Russell, but they were confident in winning the series.
All right, thank you very much, Elton. Basil, do you think that it was just a case that West Indies bowled better and then England never bowled as well as West Indies? For that attack looked very, very ordinary yesterday.
Yeah, I would say this Jofra Archer, who was supposed to be the spearhead bowler, was very inconsistent in my opinion. He was either a little too full or he was a little too short. He never got into any kind of real rhythm because he was the one that would have to make the inroads. The guy to me that looked the best for them was the guy that got the one wicket until King got out with the game almost done. Overton, right? But England, even Rashid was he was bowling a little too full, a little too short. They did not bowl as well as the West Indies at all.
Okay, thank you. Roger, tell us about those innings from Casey Carty and Brandon King. What stood out for you in those innings? And if you were to assess those innings, please give us a detailed assessment of those two innings. Maybe you can take Brandon King and Bobby will take Casey Carty.
Right. Well, I think Brandon King would have heard all the noise around the Caribbean by fans and pundits all over. And I think I've long known that Brandon King is a very, very good player, very talented player. And I think with all the noise around Brandon King, you could see from his approach, the determination, you could tell that Brandon King wanted to play a big knock yesterday. In recent times, we've seen with Brandon King that, has come out to bat, looking to really take the power play on. So you would notice that he's running down the pitch and he's been a bit frantic in terms of his whole approach. Yesterday, you could see a slightly more measured, more thoughtful approach to his batting, where he was looking to put away the bad ball, still looking to be aggressive, still looking to be punchy, but not necessarily reckless. And I think he found the right tempo yesterday. And for me, it was just a matter of him really finding the right tempo and playing that way right throughout his innings, really doing the sort of boring things over and over again. I think that's what Brandon King did really well yesterday. And I'm very, very happy to see what he did. I mean, a lot of persons have been calling for Justin Greaves. And to be honest, I think anyone who would have seen King play yesterday, they would know that this is a batsman that you want to be in your one-day team.
Thank you. Basil, what do you think about Casey Carty knock yesterday?
I think Casey Carty heard me on your show.
Oh, sorry, Basil, it's Bobby. Sorry.
Well, to start off where Basil left off, yeah, I think Casey Carty heard him and he upped the strike rate. He was playing good. I mean, he played the knock that we all know he can do, right? I mean, we all know Casey's a talented guy. He played the knock. He finally got the century that we've been waiting on. He's been waiting on. And I think, this is what he did yesterday is what we expect to come from him. He played a very mature knock with King. He seed off. He did not got frustrated. I remember a period where he was probably at 60 or something like that. He wasn't scoring. Then after that, he got some bad balls, put them away. And before you know it, he was back striking at 100. So I think he's finally, finding his feet, especially with his strike rate. But for me, I always knew that would come in time because I've seen him play T20, so I know he has it in him. So he's just doing what we expect him to do.
Thank you very much. Elton, do you think they were racing each other to this century? And did it become a concern to you that by racing each other, one of them may get out?
I was listening to your commentary, and it's like you keep saying, "Oh, they're racing." I hope they're not racing. I don't think they were racing. I think they were just comfortable playing West Indies cricket. They're comfortable in the team, and so I don't think they were racing, but they were also communicating with each other. A lot of times we didn't see that, but I could tell that they were talking to each other and getting the job done.
Basil, you were making a point there. Could you continue with your point?
What I was saying that Casey Carty may have heard me talking about his putrid strike rate in ODI cricket, and decided to up the ante to show that he can finally have a strike rate over 100 in a match. He batted well. Well, kudos to him. Hope he continues on that upward trajectory.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think in the case of Brandon King, and there's a lot of things that I could react to, but I'll just react to this one in particularly. In the case of Brandon King, I think Darren Sammy called over King and said, "You heard what that boy, Mr. Brown, is saying? You have to deliver. Now, if you don't deliver, you have passed your age on it twice in 10 innings. I've not passed 40. And you hear what that boy Brown is saying. So you have to deliver. Because if he never delivered yesterday, it would have been 11 consecutive failure. And no matter how good you look, no matter how stylish you look, if you didn't deliver. Was I happy that he made 100? Of course. I will always be happy when a West Indies batsman perform. But a batsman just cannot continue playing innings after innings and not making their age. Now, gentlemen, something that I have to come to know. There's a very interesting scenario. Before I come to Alzarri Joseph, I know a lot of persons want to hear about Alzarri Joseph. The composition of the one-day international team going forward. Clearly, we saw what happened yesterday when you played 5 specialist bowler and don't have another, what do you say, above part-time bowler, somebody who can give you 5-6 overs. Rutherford, 3.5 overs, went for 57 runs. Are we looking now to get somebody in at number 6 who can give us 4 or 5 overs just in case we should come up on another similar scenario, or even, which can happen more often, one of the bowlers not really hitting it today? Are we looking for a 6 bowler that who's mostly a batsman in this team? Who want to go first? Any one of you can go.
I'll take it. All right, go ahead, Bobby.
All right. So, I mean, I think that was Chase supposed to be. Isn't Chase supposed to be the number 6? I think Chase supposed to be around number 6, so that would mean a batter would be out, maybe hit Maya. But sometimes we can have a 6 option, but I think it depends on the opposition we're playing. What happened yesterday was unfortunate, but I don't think that would happen most times in matches. So, I think it depends on the pitch, the condition, the opponents. But, I always think that Chase was the number 6 and the other all-rounder can play number 7.
Go ahead, Roger.
So as long as we continue to use Roston Chase as the 5th bowler, your other 4 bowlers need to be 4 good attacking, wicket-taking bowlers. And that means Romari Shepherd, for example, has no place in this team. I know he did a decent job yesterday, but we really have to get our best bowlers out there if we're going to take the risk of going in with 5 bowlers. So either Shamar Joseph, Jaden Seals, one of those guys have to come into the mix. There's no way I'm going to go into a game with 5 bowlers and 2 of these bowlers are going to be part-time bowlers / all-rounders, which is what we have right now. Ideally, I do believe that we need to choose between either Hetmeyer or Rutherford. At this point, Rutherford is ahead, and try to get that other option in there. But for now, again, depending on opposition, it's a risk that we can take if we have 5 really good bowlers. But if we're not sure about our 5th option, I do believe that 6th option is going to have to come into play, and Ross and Chase will have to bat in the top 6 and play that role as a 6th bowling option.
Basil, what are your views on the composition of the team going forward? It has always been an issue. Most teams all over the world don't take that risk of going in with only 5 bowlers. We saw what happened to India in the World Cup finals, the ODI World Cup final. Basil, should we always have Chase? Well, when I said always have Chase, similar type player, I mean, at number 6, and have 5 specialist bowlers otherwise. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so, because West Indies probably did this as an experiment or building to see how this would work, because they saw how the batting did not come up to scratch in Sri Lanka, and they wanted to, no pun intended, beef up the batting and include Mr. Hetmeyer in the side. But I think going forward, and again, this is not a top-class English team. It's England we're playing, but it's not the best English team. If some of the best English batters were playing, I doubt we would take the chance of going into any game against them with only 5 bowling options.
Okay, thank you very much, Basil. Elton, if West Indies is to go into the match, therefore, with 5 specialist batsmen, and Chase playing at number 6, who are those 5 batsmen? Who you think out of that top 6 that played yesterday, who is a likely candidate to be dropped? Elton?
This is tough, but I would go with if we're looking at the team that played yesterday. I hate to say it, but Hetmeyer gonna have to stay out, because I think at the moment Rutherford is doing good enough to be in the team, like the 3rd person name that you would call in that 6. And I would leave out Rutherford, because Chase have to be there. So, and well, Chase would be the 6
Bowler.
The 6 bowler, and we would say batsman or all rounder.
Thank you very much, Elton. Basil, I'm coming to you now, Basil. There's a man waiting in the wing by the name of Nicholas Pooran. This top 5 is performing brilliantly. Should Pooran decide that he's now interested in playing one-day cricket, what is the way forward?
Well, if Pooran is going to be included, it's obvious Mr. Carty has to sit down. There is no thought about that. I mean, it's cheese to chalk. Pooran plays, Carty goes to the bench.
Okay. Bobby, what's your thoughts on that?
I disagree. I mean, Pooran doesn't have that type of record to can just walk in the team. What if Carty start averaging 45 plus over the next year when Pooran decides to come back? We're just going to throw him away for a guy who decided not to play cricket for us for 2 years? I think not. So he has to work back his way or wait for somebody else to fail, but definitely not Carty. When you look at the year Carty has had, it's better if one of the openers are failing. You said put Carty to open, and then Pooran can come in the team. But no, I won't leave Carty out. The man who would be left out, even though he's not in the top 5 right now, Hetmeyer, but somebody else, one of the openers. But Carty and Shea Hope, we know what Hope can do, but other than Hope, Carty has been the only consistent batsman for the last year. So we cannot leave him out.
Roger, does Pooran walk straight back into your team, or he has to earn his spot? And if he's coming back into the team, where would you bat him? Who's a likely person that he would replace?
Carlton, class is class and quality is quality. If Pooran is ready to play ODI cricket tomorrow, and I noticed Bobby just said Pooran doesn't have the type of record to justify him walking into the team. Well, I would think a strike rate of close to 100 and the average of 40 should be enough for Pooran to walk into his team. Once Pooran wants to play, he replaces anyone not named Shea Hope or Evan Lewis in this team. Any one of those batsmen can sit, and Pooran has to play. It could be Hetmeyer, it could be Rutherford, it could be Casey Carty, but Pooran has to play.
It's a very... Go ahead, Bobby.
I want to ask Roger something. Roger, what's his record against top teams? Take out the qualifier where he beat up on the liquor man them. What's his record against the other top teams?
Well, I think he has a pretty good record against all the teams. Obviously, he did have a great World Cup qualifiers. I think his average lifted from 37.5 to 40.
No, it was 30.
It's not as if his average went from 31 to 40.
Yes, it was 32 to what?
No,
39,
man.
40.
No, man,
Yes.
there's no way.
I'm telling you, he scored he averages over 100 and something in the qualifiers.
Hey, listen.
Probably
Pooran,
almost 200.
Pooran for me, once he is ready to play, Pooran will play and someone will sit.
Okay.
That's it.
Elton, what would you like to come in here, Elton? What's your view? Does Pooran walk back into the team, or he has to earn his spot? And Basil, I would like you to follow up after Elton, definitely.
Carlton,
Go ahead.
my opinion on this. First, I would say why Pooran is not around. But I really think that the team that is there now should move on like that. If Pooran want to come back in my opinion, I think he should wait. It's like these guys are doing good. These guys seems to be very confident right now, and they are playing together. When a team is playing together, it's like they will win more games than you got all if they're all stars. If you're playing together, I think you will win more games. That's my opinion. I think he should wait.
Basil, what do you think?
Look, I mean, it's a speculation. The question is a speculative question on your part, because we have not seen any indication of Pooran interest in playing ODI cricket since the World Cup qualifiers. However, with what Pooran brings to the table, Carty doesn't bring that. I mean, let's be for real. Carty cannot dominate no bowling. You have to have batters. We have a poor bowling lineup. We need to score serious runs when we got to play against fully loaded top teams for us to beat them. Not 328, as we saw how this England team, which is devoid of some of their best batters, could easily knock off 328 against us, right? So Pooran will give any bowling attack sleepless nights. And you're going to tell me, Carty?
Well, Basil, why hasn't he done it over a period of time? Why hasn't he dominated the bowling?
Pooran got 100 in the World Cup. Carty ever come close to even doing that?
He never played a World Cup.
Well, here, you should come off this program right now because you don't know nothing about cricket. Pooran has 100 in the World Cup in England.
Okay, one.
It was
one.
And this was a young Pooran. Pooran was averaging close over 50, and then he hit a low lull patch as all players go through. You gotta be kidding. Pooran is one of the better batters in white ball cricket in the world, and you can tell me you gonna keep Carty?
I'm keeping the guy who's scoring the runs. I'm keeping the guy who's scoring the runs.
He can't even score runs over 100 strike rate. He got a 74 strike rate is his career strike rate. 74.
The guy only played 20-something games.
Well, that should show you should have a better strike rate with 20-something games.
But if you look, his first 7 games were awful.
In his entire career, that match last night is the very first time he has ever batted at ball a run or more. And you telling me you want to compare him with, let me just use the old vernacular. He can't carry Pooran's jockstrap.
Let's see. Let us see. He's getting better by the day. So let us see. Okay.
Nonetheless, I think it's a very interesting scenario for the West Indies selectors. The World Cup, the ODI World Cup being in 2027, it's not far away. And a year before the World Cup, you will see more one-day international matches being played as teams get ready for the World Cup. And what I think I heard that Pooran said, a year out from the World Cup, he will be available. No,
I think it's at 2 years.
I heard a year. So, okay. So we are hearing different things. So maybe it's just, that's how rumors goes.
Right.
Rumors go.
Interesting.
Yes. No, I just want to say, though, it's a very, very interesting scenario for the West Indies selectors led by Darren Sammy to have such competition. And we are glad that the players are performing, because if the players were not performing, the conversation would be different. So this is a healthy conversation that the players are performing. And also we are happy to see that also Justin Greaves making runs in the regional Super 50. Go ahead, Roger.
No, for sure. Obviously, it's good to see competition for places. And what I would say is, once this starts to happen, it means your cricket is on the up, right? When guys like Justin Greaves can make 300s in a row and still not get into the West Indies team, it shows that we're on the up. What we have to do with guys like these, the way you reward them, you send them on A-team tours. Perhaps he could get a chance in another format. Maybe it's a test format. But right now, as far as it stands in ODI cricket, there's no place for him. And that's a good thing. We saw where Karun Nair from India made a 100, and 2 matches later, he wasn't playing. We saw Sarfaraz Khan, who was averaged 70 in first-class cricket in India for years and could not get in. He finally got his chance. So we shouldn't look at it as a negative that Greaves is now making.
Who's looking at it as a negative? I was looking at it as a negative, Roger.
A lot of fans believe that Justin Greaves, based on his 300s, must be in the West Indies one-day team right now. And unfortunately, there is no place for him. And that is because we have guys that are actually performing.
Okay, that's... yes, go ahead, Basil.
Carlton, I think too, I always like for a healthy competition, because even if we have to play the 5 bowlers and the 6 option, right? You're talking about a Hetmeyer not getting to play at this moment, right? Because he would be the odd man out. And Hetmeyer, when it comes to ODI cricket in the past, has been a good performer. He needs to regain that. So now, it as you said, what we want is the selectors to have headaches when they're gonna pick the team, and not put guys in there just because they're putting guys in there, right? So it's a healthy thing to see the competition, because I would argue that Mr. King saw those 300s by Graves and said to himself, we have an ODI series coming up against Bangladesh, right? And I have not been making runs, and I'm sure his Jamaican compatriots would have told him of Mr. Brown, right? That he has to buck up. And I watched him back yesterday. I kept thinking of you, Carlton. I said, this man, like, he hear you over and over saying these runs not meeting up his age, right? And he decided yesterday, I can take him. Because if even Carty could come in and pass Brandon King, who is a way more free-scoring batter than Carty, you know he was determined yesterday to dig in and not fall to the guillotine of the selectors with the pressure from it coming from Graves, which is a good thing for West Indies cricket.
Very good thing. Elton, what do you have to add?
Well, I can go back and say is that go back to Pooran. Is like I keep asking why, where is he now? Why isn't he available to play?
That's a good question.
Because while he's away, it's like, is he just decide that like in the past, quite a few guys decide, oh, we're gonna take a break. But at the same time, when it comes to the franchise cricket, they're available. It's like I would ask a question: why isn't he around? Is he getting some rest, or because of course, I mean, just he decide that he don't want to play, and then all of a sudden now he's available. So the guy that is doing good, and I understand, I know. As Basil said, is like Pooran is one of those players that he should just walk in the team. But left to the situation that is where he is right now and why he's not around.
Thank you.
Carlton, let me clarify my position. I never said Pooran should just walk back in the team. But if I have to make a choice, I'm making a choice. I have to pick between Carty and Pooran. I am picking Pooran every day of the week and add on another day on the week. That's what my I'm not saying that Pooran should just walk into the team. But if I have a choice between those two players as a batter in any kind of cricket, I'm taking Pooran every day. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much, Basil. And we want to welcome the viewers and TV and Cricket Power Play Network. Welcome you to the show, as this is being streamed live also to that platform. From I'm a little boy, ever since I'm a little boy, it always happened where whenever your team reaches semifinals or final, there are always some persons who just come in from everywhere. And those persons who really got the team to the semifinal and final, some of them usually are left out on the bench. So that is something that always happens in cricket. Yesterday, the image that flashed across the cricket world with Alzarri Joseph in total disgust with his captain Sheo walking off the field, not once, but twice. And as Sammy encouraged him to calm down, and they were finger pointing by Sammy, West Indies cricket was on the world stage and it was not looking good. As I said in my opening remarks, the range of punishment that persons are asking for Alzarri Joseph range from nothing to absolute banning him from West Indies cricket. I do not think this is an ICC matter. I try to go through the rules. The umpires cannot stop a player from leaving the field if he wants to. I think it's an internal matter with the West Indies, and it needs to be settled in-house in the West Indies. I am disappointed in Alzarri Joseph for walking off the field yesterday. And I became even more disappointed, and I cannot explain the second time that he did so. Although he was showing that again, they were misfeeling off his bowling too often. On the first occasion when he walked off the field, although I believe that it was wrong and it was unacceptable, I believe it was the lesser of the two evil. And why I say that is that if he stayed on the field, the situation could have escalated and he said to himself, let me go off, wash my face, count to 10, and then go back out there. I cannot explain the second time, however, and that is why I think he should face some level of punishment. These four gentlemen, and you in the community, there's a live poll in the live chat, and I know many of you are voting on it, but I'm going to ask these four gentlemen to give me their views on it. And this time, I will start with Roger Tracy. Please go ahead, Roger Tracy, with your views on the situation.
All right. So, like many fans and pundits across the world, I'm also very disappointed in the actions of Alzarri Joseph. I don't believe there's any place in international cricket for such acts in terms of walking off the cricket field because you're not pleased about something that happened. So I do believe that Alzarri should face some type of punishment. But I'm not one of those who believes that we should bring the full hammer down on Alzarri. Something light, perhaps it's is match fees, a public apology, and then they could decide whether or not to give him, perhaps a one-game suspension. I believe Alzarri is one of the most passionate cricketers in the world. This guy knows what it takes to what it means to represent the West Indies. He represents our region with passion. He loves West Indies cricket dearly. Alzarri is always available. He's one of the only players with who is a guy who T20 franchise want, who has never missed a West Indies series, test, one day, or T20 to go and play in the leagues. I believe this guy is very loyal to the West Indies. On the other hand,
I want to ask you a question on that point, Roger. If you have a worker, a very good worker, that comes to work every day, if he does something wrong, does it mean you are not going to punish him?
no, and I did not say Alzarri should get away without any punishment.
Okay, all right. I probably never heard that.
Right. I just don't believe everyone who is saying he should never play for the West Indies or should be banned for 10 years. I do believe he should lose his match fee. I do believe that he should make a public apology and perhaps get, a one-game suspension. Okay. But I don't believe we should be looking to chop, Alzarri's head off. That's just how I feel.
Thank you. Elton, let's hear your views on this.
Yeah, well, my views is I did not see what happened. I heard from both you and Roger Tracy, but I really think that until we heard exactly what happened from Alzarri Joseph, then we could decide that okay, you should either get whatever punishment. But like I said, I can't say much because I didn't. When I start to watch the game, it's like it already happened. I just heard from both you and again Roger Tracy. So I really don't think that for me, I'm not gonna say whatever punishment he should get until if they have he come out and he speak publicly of what happened.
Thank you very much. Bobby, your views on the matter.
Yeah, well, Alzarri has to get some punishment. I don't think severe punishment like what some people are advocating for, like Roger said. Some people want him to get 10 game ban, a year ban, or anything like that. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I was disappointed in him for coming off the field, but he has to come apologize, and I'm sure he did something wrong. So if you ask me, take away his match fee, a 1 or 2 game ban, and that's it. I think Alzarri is just the passion, and he let his emotion get the best of him. But we've been hearing that it was over something kind of ridiculous from the captain, if you ask me. But it's just one of those days. We're humans, we make mistakes. and he just has to apologize and we move on, because he's one of our most loyal players. He's always here. He's always playing with his heart on his sleeve. So I don't think we should kill him for that.
Basil, I came to you last, and I deliberately do so. I really want to hear your views on the matter. I also want to put it to you that a bowler who is bowling high 140, touching close to 150, a backward point is almost compulsory, especially with a brand new ball. We're also hearing, Basil, and you probably would have heard too, that what happened yesterday never started yesterday. So I want you to sum up everything for us, Basil, and give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like particularly with Alzarri is him walking off the field. That was the part that was the most disappointing for me. Players, the captain and players can get into it on the field over disagreements and so on and so forth. I think Shea Hope as a captain, if that's what you're telling me that Alzarri was asking for, it seems to me Shea Hope needs to have a little bit more trust in his spearhead bowler, in my opinion. And you give him the field that he asked for. And now if it is not working out, then you will make the adjustments as captain, right? We often say about bowlers, you want the bowler to have the intelligence, the cricket acumen to understand what they're trying to do with each batter, and and be able to make adjustments in the field accordingly, right? And the captain would be in concert with them, right? And so that part there, I think Shea Hope needs to be a little bit more open-minded as a captain, in terms of that. Now, the thing about the second time walking off, that was even more disappointing, because this was an issue with teammates, guys not doing what they're supposed to do in backing up and so on and so forth. And I think what Alzarri needs to understand is two things he did right there in the open for the world to see: his vehement disagreement with his captain, the whatever language between them, because he actually saw Brandon King and others coming in between. So whatever vitriol was going on was very heated. And the second thing is that when you walk off the field, this is not an individual act. You're affecting your whole team. You have disappointed your teammates in that act. And I always remember a former great American football player, Hall of Famer, said there are three things when you play three-team sports. And if you do these three things in the order, you play for the respect of your teammates. Second, you play for the trust of your coaches. And three, you play for the adulation of your friends and fans. You do those three things in the order. As a team sport person, you will have a very good time, if you will, in your experience as a team sport player. And I think Alzarri broke all three of those cardinal rules yesterday with his behavior. Now, in terms of punishment, West Indies, all players' contracts have a code of conduct. So that's the first place you're going to look at. Did he break a code of conduct? Boom. That would trigger. That's supposed to then trigger charges brought, and you go before the disciplinary committee, and you have your hearing, and they will then mete out whatever sanction is to occur, right? All the other stuff we speculating. You know, some people say he would never play again and all kinds of things and so on. No, one of the things about us in the Caribbean that we have been very poor as a cricketing entity historically is dealing with people who are rough around the edges, quote unquote difficult personalities and so on. That we often just simply brandish them as being indisciplined and we throw them and discard them away. No, everybody, I just want to say this, everybody don't come through the same environment and get all the tools of interaction and efficacy and all those things like other people. So you have to be able to work with such individuals to help them to be better people.
Thank you very much, Basil. What I want to say to you quickly, Roger, can we ask our players, we demand our players to be passionate. If we demand them to be passionate, how do we expect them to be always calm? Frankly, me personally, I don't have any issue with a bust up on the field, you know. Yesterday, while I was doing the watch along, when Alzarri Joseph came back on the field, if I was the captain there and then, I'm going to whisper something in Alzarri ears to rev him up some more and then throw the ball game, you know. So that's how I see. That's how I see it. If I can get him mad, you remember when Dean Jones got Ambrose mad? It was 7-for-1 that Ambrose took, you know. So, Roger, can we ask the players to play with passion and expect them to be always calm?
No, it's a very thin line between playing with passion and that passion boiling over. And to be honest, after Alzarri calmed down and came back for his I think it was second or third spell, he was bowling much slower. So you can tell that, you know, him being revved up in that moment really helped and spur him along. You saw that delivery that got out Cox. I mean, that was a brute of a delivery. All spurred on because
before he walked off the field, though.
Before he walked off the field. But
Yes.
that is because he was so angry, right? So him getting to those levels is what really pushed him and made him bowl much quicker and really enabled his whole aggression. But, you know, I agree. It's a very, very thin line between showing that level of passion and not going over the edge. And as sportsmen, competitive sportsmen in this industry, you're going to get it from time to time, and it's a matter of managing it and helping Alzarri along. Instead of everyone looking to really come down hard on the young man, yes, he should receive some type of punishment, some type of sanction, but more importantly, look to kind of, you know, help him along and help him to be a better person.
Thank you very much. So 84% of the persons in the live chat are voting that Alzarri should get some form of punishment or some form of punishment one way or the other. 16% is saying that he should get no punishment any at all. So that's just 1%, because once it reaches 85, it's what they call it. I think 85% is total agreement. That's how statistics goes. You don't have to be 100% agreement once you pass 85. So we are 1% away from total agreement. Just going to run through some comments. You're not going to react to some, but we'll just run through some. The champion, who is always here with us, is saying, I'm taking it seriously because no one should leave the field. We agree. The field of battle and put the rest of their teammates at a disadvantage. Definitely so, Basil. Are you on mute, Basil? All right.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, there's 10 guys on the field. You put your team at a disadvantage. That's why I said he let down his teammates by walking off the field. He could have gone and stew on the boundary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Patrick McKay saying basically he should not have behaved in that manner. And Yusuf Greenwich think a too much ban and made an apology. So here is our good friend, the legendary Sherwin, saying, good afternoon. What disciplinary measures would you impose on Alzarri for walking off the field yesterday? No, I think we will need a better captain. I am surprised it took Joseph so long.
Oh, man.
You cannot get. That is why we love Sherwin so much.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, we
He's
love
right to the point,
Bobby.
Carlton. He's
Bobby,
right
do
to
you want?
Carlton, please, it's interesting. I heard you say something. I forgot to respond to it, where you said this thing with Hope and Alzarri was something that was coming on from the past. That was my impression when I watched it, because the vitriol that you saw Alzarri at Hope said to me that this was something brewing from before, and last night was the straw that break the camel back.
Thank you.
This was not a one-off thing. And if Carlton, if that is so, woe be unto Sammy and the people in the coaching setup to have not arrested this situation before it blew up like it did last night.
Yeah. I'm hearing things, but I can't say it. But the things I'm hearing is not good. A lot of work is going on, but there more needs to be done. Bobby, how do you respond to our good friend Sherwin?
Sherwin. This is the first time, probably one of the first time I kind of semi-agree with Sherwin. I don't think we need a new captain, but like he said, he's surprised it took Alzarri so long. Maybe we never noticed. Maybe Alzarri has been always asking him for a certain type of feel, and he said do this, do that, and Alzarri sometimes they end up scoring runs off him, or he doesn't take the wicket, and he just got tired of it and let go this time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bobby. So Paul Goodman is saying that he must be disciplined. We agree with that. His example could hardly have been worse. He must remember there are others in the team and youngsters who would be learning from the event. He must pay for his folly. We agree with that, but what, Elton, do you think I have a 1-match ban, a 2-match ban, a 50% match fee? What do you think, Elton? What do you think is the best thing?
Well, I think, the whole conversation that we're having here, I really think that we should also involve the captain. Because the captain and Alzarri is the one that was into whatever it is. The captain have so much to do with it. And I'm still gonna say, until I hear exactly what went on, I'm gonna say they should just talk to him and let him apologize publicly. But I also think that the captain need to come out and say what's going on, not just everybody throwing it on Alzarri Joseph.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that balanced view from Elton. Really balanced view. However, it appears to everyone at this time, and let me say at this time, because as Elton said, there's probably more to it. We are hearing that this thing doesn't started yesterday, so there's probably more to it. But yesterday it appears that Joseph was the aggressor. Roger, your guy Brandon King. Farrell Dawes is saying, good game from Brandon King yesterday. Need to have that attitude towards his game most of the time. Absolutely perfect from Farrell Dawes, Roger. And I'm glad that the things that I have said have spurred, and Justin Greaves have spurred Brandon King to look like that yesterday. At no time yesterday, Brandon King looked like he was going to get out. Don't you prefer that Brandon King more than the hairy, fiery Brandon King who is getting out for less than his age, Roger?
Absolutely. I think, and this is where I side with Bobby. Bobby likes to make a distinction between the formats. And that's where I believe Brandon King, having been opening the batting in T20, where he feels he needs to, take the game on and do different things and not be as measured as he was earlier in his career, as affected his one-day game. But I really, I was proud of Brandon King yesterday and his approach. I still believe Brandon King would be better served in the middle order for the West Indies. But I was definitely very proud of the way he went about his business yesterday. And as you said, you could tell that he was determined and the bowlers weren't really troubling him. And you know what, Carlton, as soon as he got to 100, I said to myself, Carlton, hold that.
Yeah. No, if you were, no, why would you say that though? Because I found it very interesting for you to say all that, because what I was saying before then is that you should glad that Brandon King turned around his form, just like how I was happy that he turned around his form. So for you to say all that is not like what I was saying before. I was saying anything wrong. You have batted 10 times. I've only passed his age twice. Am I wrong? Was I wrong, Roger?
No, man, you're right. Just a bit of banter, man.
Yeah,
I know you're right.
So I was always speaking the truth. Now
Yeah.
that you have made 100, I celebrate.
No. My response to you saying, if Brandon King does not make 100 in the game yesterday, he should be
But he
dropped.
listened. He listened. Didn't he listen?
That
Yes,
was very
he
harsh.
listened.
I think that was very harsh, though. You know,
He listened. But he listened. No, sport is very ruthless. The moment you stop being ruthless in sport, you lose. And Philip Du Bois saying, yes, we can get upset, but sometimes we need to look at the bigger picture and a bigger mind as mature men. Yes, I agree with that. Eamon Khan is saying that Pooran waits. So, Basil, here's another person who's saying that Pooran waits.
No, look, again, let me clarify again to these folks. I am not saying Pooran just walks into the team just like that. I was simply saying, if I have to make a choice between Pooran and Carty, I am picking Mr. Pooran. Everybody else could have their opinion. That is my opinion. And I stand on it.
But I never like my opinion, Basil.
But wait.
No, I have an alternate opinion to you.
But guys, I think context matters as well, you know, because if West Indies goes on a winning streak, and suddenly they have won 18 of the last 19 games, and the ranking improved some 9 or 10.
But Roger, we can't go there because we can't go there.
We can't put in all of that.
Yeah.
But context matters, though.
Yes, but once we start use if.
Yes.
If can be anything, if can be anything. So we can't really go there. Elton, would you bench King for Pooran?
Oh,
your mic is
that's
off.
Tough. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Right now, King and Carty is doing very good. Now to just show up and said, okay, because this is not T20. This is ODI. I don't know. It's like if I was one of the selector, I would go with the team that is there now.
Okay. Ray Phillips is saying, thank you, Elton. It's unacceptable. Take away the vice captaincy, name another vice captain along with a suspension for a few matches. That sounds reasonable, Basil. Is he still a vice captain?
I don't even know if he's a vice captain because the media released of when this squad was picked, they didn't name a vice captain in it. So I don't know who is the vice captain, so I can't say that. But again, we have the West Indies board supposed to have a disciplinary committee. Let them deal with it, right? They will look, just as Elton's asked about Hope's testimony, because he is one of the participants in the action. Those testimonies will be part and parcel of a disciplinary hearing after and just as Elton said, when everybody, all the information would have been ventilated in a disciplinary hearing, then the panel will then make a decision as to what sanction they can mete out for Alzarri. I will say this, the first thing that they could definitely do right off the bat, with a disciplinary hearing down the road, is to send him home, because it would be clear as day what he did. He broke team conduct rules. That is basic, right?
So you'd send him on right. You'd send him on right away.
No, well, look. They sent on Bravo, right?
Yeah.
For writing.
Tell me something. Did they send on Michael Holding when he kicked down the stump in New Zealand?
No, that was a different context.
Okay.
Right?
All right, Patrick. But it's a different context, but he still did something that was unsportsmanlike.
No, but
Patrick Lambert said. So, gentlemen, at the beginning we said that the pitch was a little spicy, but Patrick Lambert is saying that it was always a batting pitch and England never applied themselves. Was it a case that England never applied themselves, or we bowl well, Bobby?
Yeah, like I said, we bowl well, but I don't think they have their batsman is not good as our batsman. And
Okay.
their bowling was they had two main bowlers and they were missing yesterday. So,
So this is very interesting, gentlemen. Francis Matthew John is saying, stop overrating Pooran, while Athena is saying that Nikki P could moonwalk into the team. Very, yes. And Lewis Willow is also saying that Pooran has to play full stop. He's the first batter I am selecting in my 11. Is that fair though, Basil?
Look, if the only batter on the team that possibly you could put in front of Pooran, and that's going back because he's starting to recapture some is Evan Lewis. Because when Evan Lewis was at his best, he was clearly our best white ball batter, period. ODI, T20. He was clearly our best batter. He has looked like he's regaining some of that form that he had when he was on the top of his game. But Pooran right now is the creme de la creme of our batting, man. I have jumped off the Pooran bandwagon, but I give Jack his jacket. He is the creme de la creme.
Roddy Latu is saying, Roger, that Alzarri Joseph speed is a waste. The text is there. Roger, how do you react to that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, in a current West Indies context, Alzarri is an excellent bowler. He's a wicket taker for us. He's a match winner. Sure, we're not 100% happy with him all the time. He does go for runs, but he does take wickets. So, based on what we have, I'm pretty happy with Alzarri. We don't have any better.
But interesting, Bobby. Earlier, I don't recall which one of you guys said that the West Indies team is performing. But Paul Goodman is making a very good point here. Just the series prior, in Sri Lanka, we did not perform all that well. The bowlers never have anything to bowl at.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to talk about Sri Lanka, how many people go to Sri Lanka when Sri Lanka start putting on those spinning pitch can beat Sri Lanka? We won 2 games down there. So, I mean, I don't know what performance he's saying, but if he's saying Sri Lanka, like I said, India went there, they lost 3-0. They won 3-0. They won the T20 3-0, but they also lost the ODI 3-0. So, I think we're performing way better than we have been for the past, before Sammy took over. So we're not gonna jump from 10th to 3 to 5 to 2 just like that. It's a process.
Yeah, it's very interesting here, and this is why getting different perspective is very important. And I want Basil then Elton to address this. What about the bowling coach? Was there any plans before the game how to bowl to each player? Because if there was a plan, especially at the top of the innings, there wouldn't be any argument about the backward point.
There are always bowling plans. That is basic because you go through each batter, you look at the areas you want to bowl to them, the type of fields you would set. Now, obviously, there was a conflict between the captain and the bowler about the bowling plans to set batter, right? Now, remember, this is something that people need to realize. You got all of these plans, and is the captain as tuned in to the plans of each bowler and batter when they face them in terms of the field they have to play? That's the homework you're doing as a captain, right?
So Basil, this is really deeper. This is a very good point that Athena is making now. Did James Franklin, Alzarri Joseph, and Sheo work out a bowling plan? If they did not, what is James Franklin doing here as a coach? He needs to leave immediately. Did Sheo go against the plan? Or did Alzarri Joseph never said anything in that meeting and then he comes on the field and just want to bowl? Elton, you're onto something here that we can really not say anything until we really hear the full story.
Well, I really think that there was no plan.
No, there's
And
not. There's not.
No, I think my
Allow him
opinion.
to express his opinion, Basil. Allow him
My
to express.
opinion. I don't think there was any plan, because with Alzarri Joseph pace, there should be a third man. Without a doubt, there should be a third man. And obviously, if he's asking for one, that means there was no plan.
Thank you
And
very much.
as I said, with his pace, there should be a third man without even the bowler and the captain come together. But it seems like the bowler and the captain wasn't really seeing things eye to eye going out on the field.
Thank you very much, Elton. Basil, not Basil, Bobby. It's like a game of domino. I use this scenario every time. Person standing behind you watching a game of domino, they know what you should play. At the end of the game, you win it. And they tell you that you shouldn't play it that way. Alzarri Joseph got a wicket in the over. Does he have a case? Wasn't Sheo right to say this is the field?
No, I think Alzarri still has a case, because there's not one way to get a wicket. He could have bowled a bad ball and gotten a wicket. He could have bowled the worst ball in history and got a wicket. So, I see some people saying that he got a wicket, so Shea Hope got it right. But, I don't think, it's that easy, because he was revved up. That ball was a dangerous ball. So I don't think there's a case to say it's that simple.
Yes. OTC is saying that other bowlers change the field, Hope said, or do nothing. Zari change the field, Hope change it back. Why? There's no conspiracy, Basil. Absolutely no conspiracy, OTC. And I would also say this, that the captain has veto over field setting. While I am always one who believes that the bowler should really set his field, the hierarchy also dictates that the captain have veto. Is there any conspiracy in this, Basil?
No, I don't know about that, if that is true. So I wouldn't get into that if indeed, and that other bowlers because I did see other bowlers making adjustment in their field, and Hope didn't stop it. You see at times. That's why I said when Elton said no plan, I said no, because a captain could have one plan in his mind, the bowler has a different one. Who will win out? The captain, because he is the boss on the field. I know this for a fact. Even in our great West Indies team with the great Clive Lloyd at the helm, there were times when certain bowlers wanted a field and the captain said no, and the bowler was against what the captain doing. The bowler had a plan, working on the plan, and the plan came to fruition, but the captain had removed the fielder from where the ball was. The bowler wanted the ball to play the ball and get out. So it happens all the time. So it's not. But so what is there? It's a difference in they were not on the same page.
But the point Elton is making, though, in the fourth over of the game, shouldn't have there been something? I could understand if it's probably 20 over and they are going with they're what you call it now, on the spur of the moment. But in the fourth over, shouldn't they have gone out there with something concrete? That's just my view. Shirley Samuel is saying, Mr. Brown, they should have really get him more upset so he would take all of the other wickets. I love that idea, get him upset. I believe so too. And this is serious though, Roger. 3-match ban, lost of vice captaincy, lost of match fee, and reintroduced him to the code of conduct. The world was watching when he did what he did. That's far too much, Roger.
Yeah, definitely far too much. In terms of the vice captaincy, the bigger question here is what is the relationship between Hope and his vice captain? Can they work together? Have they been working well together? So, if these two are not able to coexist, then I would certainly look at having a new vice captain, because obviously, if they're not able to coexist and they're not working well together, then Alzarri will never be a good vice captain to Shea Hope. But as far as this is concerned, certainly match fee for sure, apology, and perhaps a 1-match ban or none.
Well,
in my opinion.
Yes, and I disagree with your opinion, although I respectfully, but I am not one who think that if the vice captain and the captain is not getting along, it doesn't mean that we should demote any of them. I think that that's a personal thing. Once they go on the field and they do what they want to do, although in this scenario it boils over. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I don't think that I should change my vice president because he and the president is not getting along. That's the time I want him to be the vice president, because he's going to have a good look at him. What do you think? What do you think, Elton?
I don't agree with that.
Yes,
I think
man.
I don't agree with that. I think the vice captain and the captain should be able to maybe not see eye to eye, but they should be able to again talk.
Yes.
And something goes wrong, he should go over to the captain, or the captain come over to him and ask him, what do you think about this? But if something like that is going on, they're not gonna talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's like two of the famous batsmen in West Indies team in the past that they make so much runs together and they go in the middle of the pitch and tap their bat and walk away. They didn't say nothing to each other, but they make a lot of runs. But with captaincy, it's like, and vice captain, they need to talk.
Bobby, you want to say remove Alzarri from being vice captain. What message is he sending to the younger players? Yeah, is he sending a wrong message to the younger players due to his behavior?
Well, yeah, that what he did, it was wrong. But I don't think we should go as far as removing him from the vice captain. What he did was wrong. And if people want to say the messaging this guy is sending, and they want to go so far for one thing. What is the message he has been sending to the youngsters for the past 8 years? I think he has been sending a brighter message more than this one time. He got it wrong. And like I said, give him his punishment, 1, maybe 2-match ban, take away his match fee. That's it. But to go as far as taking the vice captain from him and saying what messages he's sending, there's other players sending way worse message to the younger players than Alzarri.
Yes. Basil, from what we saw, and I agree with Elton that there's probably more to come, but from what we saw, if just judging from what we saw, Hope was the defender and Alzarri was the aggressor, and you cannot punish the defender.
No, you're not punishing. Hope was doing what, as a captain, that's the captain's job, to make decisions, field placements on the field. The bowler disagrees. The captain, you have to bowl according to the field the captain set, right? No, the thing about Alzarri's, I would say this about Alzarri. Excuse me. I've seen him captain Leeward Islands. I'm very impressed with his leadership on the field. How he encouraged players, etc. O'Shane Thomas, I remember this very well, was bowling, you know O'Shane Thomas at times.
Yes.
And Alzarri, I'm looking at Alzarri's face because of the passion I see when he's on the team, on the field for the West Indies, when things don't go in his mind accordingly, how you would see certain facial expressions. And it was completely the opposite. He actually was very encouraging to Thomas. He went up to him, talked to him, and you could see the encouragement, you know, and he still gave him to bowl another over. And I said, wait, this guy, I could see, when I saw that, I said, I could see now why they would have made that decision to make him the vice captain, because he has leadership skills. So I see this situation as a one-off.
I allow you to get some water,
Yes.
Basil. Yes, please. Darren Sammy said, behavior like that is unacceptable on my cricket field. My cricket field. Interesting. We will be friends, but in the culture I am trying to build, that's unacceptable. We will definitely have a chat about it. We are looking forward to see what will happen here, Roger.
Yeah, quite a shocking statement from Sammy, to be honest. Sammy is no longer the captain; he's a coach. I'm one of those who likes when it's a captain's team. It certainly seems as if the way Sammy coaches, it's really the coach's team and then the captains follow. I like when it's a captain's team. I sort of like, when it's Pollard's team. There was no doubt Pollard is the boss. There is no doubt that Owen Morgan runs the team. I like that sort of setup. But it seems like it's Sammy's team. He's gonna have a chat with Alzarri. I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's definitely gonna be interesting.
So,
Yes.
so let me ask you a question, Roger. Then why do we have a coach?
The coach will be there. The coach is there to strategize and work with the captain. But I believe ultimately the captain is a man that should be leading the dressing room.
Building on that word ultimately that you use, Roger, I'm giving my opinion here. The performance of the team is ultimately the responsibility of the coach. The players will not be fired when the team doesn't perform well. The coach will be. If it is that ultimately that of the coach, then we don't need a coach. So if we have a coach, it must be the coach team. If we don't need a coach, then it can be the captain team. Because I'm not going to give up the final say as a coach, and I am ultimately responsible for the performance of the team. I'm not putting that in anyone's hand. What I want to say, gentlemen, finally, how many of you heard of the ball tampering incident in Australia where India is accused of tampering the ball, the India 18, and it have been pushed under the carpet, and David Warner is not happy? Have you heard about it, Basil?
Yes, I actually posted a video in one of my chat groups I am, where you saw they changed the ball from overnight. The ball that was used the day before, overnight the umpires changed the ball, and the Indian players were upset, and there was a back and forth, and the umpires told them in no uncertain terms, this is the ball we're going to be using, right? I did not know that it was due to an alleged ball tampering as to why they changed the ball. Now you have brought more context to what has happened.
Yes, I should have added on the screen, but just to quote, go ahead. I can put it on the screen. Go ahead, Roger. What you think about that ball tampering incident, then followed by Bobby?
Well, I did not hear about the ball tampering incident in Australia. So I can't say a whole lot about it. But what's interesting to me is, why is David Warner upset? His incident is long gone. Why is he upset that they're trying to, sweep it under the carpet? I think David should just leave these things alone.
I think why he's Roger, because his Indian players have been accused. When they accused the Australians, they got the hammer. So some of these Indian players are international players. Because the captain is not Gaikwad, who has played some international cricket. The plays in the IPL, I think for Chennai. I think he's the captain.
Kishan.
Yes, and Kishan actually said something verbally to the umpire in a manner that I'm sure he got some reprimand.
Well, let me ask you this.
I will, just before you comment, I got it up. I'm going continue your comment, Roger. Continue, please.
Right. I think the David Warner incident was different because they were caught on live broadcast, right? Was it the same here? Probably not. So I think that it makes a huge difference. The fact that David Warner's incident was on live broadcast, they had to do something about it.
All right. This is what I highlighted the section there that is of importance, and I'm sharing the screen of the Guardian. So big up the Guardians. Umpire Sean Craig also appeared to lay the blame for the matter with the tourists, in this case India A, who surrounded the officials to complain about the decision to change the ball. So Craig said, when you scratch it, we change the ball. No more discussion. Let's play. Craig could be heard saying on the stump mic. India wicketkeeper Ishan Kishan, who we know is not the best of character, was then warned by Craig he could face further sanction after telling officials it was a stupid decision.
Mm-hmm.
The umpire said, you will be on our report for dissent. That is very inappropriate behavior, Craig replied. Because of your own actions, we change the ball. So that's it there, gentlemen. What you think about that? What you think about it, gentlemen?
Yeah. As I said, Carlton, I'm gonna look for the video and I'm gonna send you the video, because all of that what you're describing was on the video and you could hear the back and forth. And as I said, Kishan said that to the umpire, and the umpire told him that he get reprimand for what he said. Kishan is a guy that got a temper and temperamental.
Try to be smart behind the stump on so many occasions and try to get wickets that are not legitimate. How do you respond to that, Elton? What should happen to the India A team?
Well, looking at what he was just reading, it's like, why didn't the umpire report it before it get that far? I think the umpire should have reported before he decided that he was going to change the ball. But was there any report about the ball tampering, or was the umpire was trying to hide that? But because Ishan Kishan comes out and say that, they decide that
Basil, not Basil, Bobby, what's your view on it?
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't really look much into it, but what David Warner is saying, I think, he got his ban, so he want them, if there was ball tampering, he want them to get their ban as well. But I didn't look much into it.
I just sent you the video, Carlton.
Thank you very much. I will be able to upload it probably on Saturday during the match. Mm-hmm. But Roger, Kieran Fritz is saying, on the ball tampering issue, I think Warner is right. He served his time and deserves the right to highlight their cheating. Isn't that correct, Roger?
I mean, in a sense, if that's the way he wants to go, I just think, he did his time. And this is a totally separate issue. I mean, perhaps he wants to highlight sort of the Indian power, so to speak, and perhaps, folks not wanting to go against the Indians. Maybe that's it. But as far as just being a police for ball tampering going forward, I think Warner should leave it alone.
No, you agree
I
with that,
I
Basil? I
can't
don't agree.
No,
I can't
no,
agree with that, Roger. No,
I,
no,
I
no, no,
can't.
no,
I
no,
can't.
no,
I
no.
can't. You
no,
agree with that, Bobby?
no. And remember, Roger, he's still playing in the IPL.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going against the Indians.
No,
I mean,
I think Warner is just saying that based on principle,
Yeah, Elton,
right?
don't you think, as Basil said, don't you think Warner is just saying this based on principle?
Yeah, but I think he's right.
Yes.
I mean, it happens to him, and it's like he just feel that if something comes up again, they should pretty much bring it up just like how they did when he was at fault.
Yeah. Yes. So, whether it's just some scratching or whether it is sandpaper gate, it is still trying to change the ball. And as Joseph is saying, ball tampering is cheating and should not be swept under the carpet. As I said, whether it's just some scratching or it is sandpaper gate, Basil.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. You because look, some of the, as I said, some of these guys that were in the India team have played international cricket, right? Kishan, Gaikwad, the captain. This is the level. This is the level. This is international cricket. Although you don't get credit for it in that way, but there's an Indian team playing against an Australian team, and this is the level that you often would play before you get to the real big leagues. And if guys are trying to do things with the ball at this level, you got to stamp it out. So
Just gentlemen, breaking news. I don't have the CWI is just released. Well, it's not just released. It's probably about an hour ago that Alzarri Joseph has been suspended for 2 matches.
I know. I'm not surprised.
That's just coming from Cricket West Indies. Well, as I said, it's about an hour ago. And if you did not send me this video, Basil, I would not have seen the release. And I did check my email, So Alzarri Joseph has been suspended for 2 matches. That's coming from Cricket West Indies. What's your thought on that? Starting with you, Elton. Give us your thought on Alzarri Joseph being suspended for 2 matches.
Well, I can understand they do that, but I still would ask, what have they done to the captain?
Okay.
Yeah,
Bobby. Oh, I thought you were finished, Elton. Please finish up, Elton.
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm finished.
Go ahead, Bobby. What you think about about that release?
Yeah,
Alzarri Joseph has been suspended from 2 matches.
just like I thought, that's what I would do. Like I said, 1 or 2 matches. We don't need to give him 10 matches and any crazy stuff like that. But I would hope he's still the vice captain though.
Okay. But Roger, what's your thoughts?
Well, it would be interesting to hear if there are any other punishments attached to it, right? Whether there's, as Bobby mentioned, the vice captains and match fees. I think 2 games, it's okay. I mean, I would have probably gone 1 game. But it is what it is. I think it's okay. At least they're not, giving him a 10-game suspension. But it would be very interesting to hear if there are any other punishments attached.
Basil, go ahead, Basil.
Yeah, I think that was a suspension, a sentence that fit the crime. I think that was in line. I can't go. And also, it says in the release that he made a public apology. Right.
Yeah, so here is I'm trying to just read what the release said. It's on the screen there. So I'm trying here now to just read the release. There's it on the screens.
You want me to read it for you?
I have it here now, Basil. So Cricket West Indies has imposed a 2-match suspension on fast bowler Alzarri Joseph following an on-field incident during the third CG United ODI at Kensington Oval. Mile Bascom said Alzarri's behavior did not align with the core values that Cricket West Indies uphold. Such conduct cannot be overlooked, and we have taken decisive action to ensure the gravity of the situation is fully acknowledged. Alzarri Joseph in his reply said, I recognize that my passion got the best of me. I have personally apologized to Captain Sheope and my teammates and management. I also extend my sincerest apologies to the West Indies fans. I understand that even a brief lapse in judgment can have a far-reaching impact, and I deeply regret any disappointment caused. So that's the essence of Alzarri Joseph suspension there, gentlemen. React to that for me, Bobby, first.
Once again, just like I expected, is the passion. You could see the passion in the guy when he's playing, and I can take that apology. I think it's sincere. Like I said, I see he has shown very good values. He has been a very top class professional for the past 8 years since he has been playing. So I accept that apology as a West Indies fan.
Okay, that screen sharing was courtesy of CWI. I must put that in there. Thank you, CWI, for allowing us to share that. Go ahead, Elton. What you think about that apology from Alzarri and the 2-match suspension? Is that what you're satisfied with? Is that what you expected?
Well, with that explanation from what CWI had sent out and saying Alzarri Joseph apologized and all of that, I think, yes, that 2-match suspension is good, and it should sit there with other players to let them know that if they should do anything like this, then they're gonna pay the penalty. So yes, I would go along with it now from what I heard CWI had said.
Basil, your view.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by the sanction. That was within the purview. As I stated, the first thing would be to send him home, right? Because he was unprofessional, he broke code of conduct. And code of conduct is probably the most sacrosanct thing when you have team sports. Because if you violate that, it's chaos, right? So you have to always be very stern on any violation, especially serious violation of your code of conduct. And I think this is within as I said, the sentence fits the crime. It is not overly. And yes, let him get 2 games rest. He needs some rest.
Roger, what's your views? You're muted, Roger.
Oh, let me just add this one thing to Carlton, because this is something I was saying to people, is that I don't want to just hear about a suspension or whatever the case may be. There must be a process facilitated that Alzarri, whatever anger or issues he have and so on, that such resources be provided so this situation does not happen again, right? How you're going to comport yourself. And these are things, so it would help him to become a better human being, not just in the heat of the moment, but in other situations. As I said earlier, we have been poor as a West Indian cricket entity forever in how we would treat players who will be rough around the edges and brandish them as ill-disciplined rather than be able to help them to be better human beings, which in turn will help them to be better cricketers.
Go ahead first, Roger. Thank you very much, Basil.
Yeah, I mean, I would say rest well needed. Alzarri cannot play every game. So resting him from the first 2 T20s. That's fine. As far as the apology is concerned, having had some limited interactions with Alzarri, again, he's a genuine person. He's very, very, very passionate about West Indies cricket. He often speaks about his grandmother and her love for West Indies and wanting to make her proud. So, he's one of those guys who really understands West Indies cricket. He studies the history, and I think he'll be better for all of this.
Okay, thank you. Let me run through some comments quickly. Shirley Samuel said he should report to a counsellor, as you see it on the screen there. I think Basil is saying something along that same line, and I think it's a good suggestion. I love it. Too much is rest is that punishment, and I love my brother for apologizing. I believe it is genuine, but that was crazy. So Karen Fritz, while he appreciate the apology, he does think that it's a rest. And so is that Trini Albert is saying apology accepted, and he thanking Alzarri Joseph for the apology. Joseph is saying that I think the 2-match ban was about right. We generally think so too. Hopefully, we can now get on with the game. Let's play ball. Absolutely. AR is saying Alzarri, hope he comes back a better person, stronger, wiser. Elton, your first day on the show, your fans are watching you. Give us your final comment, Elton. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, I do enjoy the show, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And again, with Alzarri, as I said, I hope he come back stronger. And he's one of the West Indies player that takes the cricket very serious. So I hope he understand what went on and also take it serious. Again, I must congratulate Casey Carty and Brandon King for those centuries. So it was nice being here, and Basil, Tracy, and Bobby, along with Carlton. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Tracy. Bobby gone. Yes, Tracy.
What we're seeing from the West Indies in this series is incremental improvements, gradual improvements that we've been seeing for quite a while. And
I never know you believe in that. I never know you believe in that, Tracy. Oh, go continue. Sorry to disrupt you.
and I do believe that we're seeing the makings here of what could be a good ODI team. The good thing about this team is a lot of these ODI guys are also playing T20. And I've long thought that for the West Indies to be competitive, we don't have enough players to have a different ODI team, a different T20 team, and a different test team. These same guys are getting valuable international experience and will now move to the T20 setup. A few tweaks here and there, and I think in another year or year and a half, we should have a very, very good unit in terms of our one-day international team. Congratulations to the team. This was an excellent performance against England.
Thank you very much, Basil.
In conclusion, again, welcome Elton to the panel. Well done to the West Indies team for winning the series. Although Alzarri's behavior overshadowed that win. I think, though, again, the West Indies in this series, it showed up again that our bowling still needs work to do, even in victory, to continue to become a solid team. But what I would say is that our batters, I would like to see more of our ODI batters playing Test cricket, not necessarily simply T20 cricket, because from the one game I saw Hetmyer play, he was still in the T20 mode, and the ODI game is a vastly different game. That 50 overs is a lot of batting. It is not, the 120 balls. Because one batter alone in a 50 over game could bat 120 balls.
Thank you very much, Basil. I thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I appreciate it. I thank all of you who are watching. We could not have gone through all your message. We are here now just 17 minutes, less 2 hours. So I hope you appreciate that. What Alzarri Joseph did was unfortunate. Let me first, though, congratulate the West Indies team for winning the series 2-1. It made me very, very proud, and I'm happy that they won. Whenever the West Indies wins cricket matches, and especially a series, everything in life just seems much easier. I repeat, it's unfortunate. I think Alzarri got the appropriate punishment, 2-match ban, apology. However, I like those sort of things, you know. What I don't like, though, is he leaving the field. I love to see passion on the field. I do not have an issue with agitation on the field, serious agitation. I don't have an issue with each player showing leadership and requiring a high standard from their fellow teammate. I do not have an issue with on-field argument. I don't agree with him, though, leaving the field, especially the second time. Despite that, though, I think when he leave the field the first time, it was the lesser of the two evils, so to speak. If he never leave, I think the situation would have escalated and he went off to just calm the situation down. As far as West Indies one-day international team is concerned, looking forward, it will be very interesting to see the makeup of the team. Do we include Rust and Chase at number 6 and add 5 bowlers to that team? Or do we continue to risk it with Chase being one of the main bowlers? It will be very interesting going forward. Thank you, Elton. Thank you, Bobby, although he has left us. Thank you, Basil. And thank you, Roger, for being here this evening. I really appreciate the show. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed evening. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.
Thank you.